What's going on, YouTube? Lloyd of Houston coming at you with a video. 713, the Bio City, we in the building. So, what I wanted to talk about today is the pros and the cons in the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade. Almost going on a month now since the trade took place. So, I want to talk about the bad side of the trade, which is the cons. Now, I know every Texan fan, such as including myself, was happy that Kenyon Green was traded, because of how crappy he was. But the downside of the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade was, he gave up 9 touchdowns, which was pretty alarming. That's something every Texans fan has to be aware and keep in mind. And not to mention, I seen it like on Instagram and stuff, and of course, every Eagles fan talking about it, and because I did see a play that, or some plays that Gardner-Johnson got burnt, including that Brazil game when he missed on the tackle on a Packers receiver, which led to a TD. So the bad downside of that trade is that, he tends to give up big plays from time to time and touchdowns. As bad as the 9 touchdowns yet it was, hell, it was a San Francisco Niner. I'm not sure what his name is, but that Niners defensive player, once gave up 12 touchdowns at one point, back in the gap, which is, 3 more TDs than what CJ Gardner-Johnson had yielded back, which was last season, when he and the Eagles won a Super Bowl. Which leads me to say that CJ Gardner-Johnson is gonna have to find a way to, limit those yielded touchdowns. Except for this time, he had to, trying to find a way how to cut that down as a member of the Houston Texans. So, yeah, it's safe to say that I admit that Gardner-Johnson has some, certain areas that he has to work on if he hopes to ball out in 2025 as the member of the Houston Texans. And, of course, starts with, cutting down on the yielded plays and the big plays. So, that's what kind of kicks CJ Gardner-Johnson's ass from time to time. The good part of this trade is that, when consistent, when healthy, that dude is a dog, man. He is a dog, pretty much notorious for getting under opposing players' skin, and known for, heavy hitting. He can make things happen. Hell, he returned an interception for a TD against the Cowboys week 18. To conclude the 2024 regular season. It's already enough that this Texans defense and secondary is stacked. With, like I mentioned, returning Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie, Kalen Bullock, Kamari Lassiter, Derek Stingley, who recently got extended. It's going to be staying in H-Town. And then, of course, you get 2 years of CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's gonna be fun to watch as a Texan. and yeah, he does talk a lot of smack. I'll say that. And yeah, he did get ejected versus the Redskins in Washington, which was BS, by the way. But some other good parts about this trade is that, leadership. Key leadership. Vocal leadership at that. Because like I said, the Texas defense, pretty top notch. Hell, even Super Bowl caliber, I may say. Even whether it's my opinion or not, the defense is already top notch. So, Dude, I mean, Gardner-Johnson, like I said, when healthy, you know, straight up dog, knows how to get under people's skin and all that. And I mean, dude, I mean, he can pretty much do it all, you know, knowing that, you know, him and Bullock's gonna be the safeties, you know, with Petrie and Jimmy Ward. Man, that secondary is set. But no, but like I mentioned, going on a month since Houston traded for Gardner-Johnson, in which I'm still trying to process, by the way, because I said it right when it happened. I wasn't expecting the Houston Texans to get CJ Gardner-Johnson, you know, truth be told. But there were some factors, you know, that led I'm not saying I'm 1,000% right on this, but there were some factors that led to Houston trading for Gardner-Johnson, you know, trying to revamp that old line. You know, on the Eagles side, you know, I mean, there were some factors on their part as well, you know, in my opinion, regarding that Bryce Huff contract. Because I'm gonna say this: take away the Eagles signing Bryce Huff to that 3-year, $51 million contract, I got a feeling that Gardner-Johnson will still be on the Eagles roster, meaning the Texans do not trade away Kenyon Green for Gardner-Johnson, truth be told. But, you know, trading for Gardner-Johnson comes to show that, you know, everything is unpredictable in the offseason. So, I mean, other good parts about it is, man, pretty versatile, you know, can bring the heat too. Can definitely bring it, along with taking away some opposing big plays. Along with, just like Bullock, just like Kamari Lassiter, just like Stingley. I mean, my goodness. And like I say, I'm still processing this Gardner-Johnson trade. You know, it's gonna be a little while before I completely process it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna throw it out there. But even so, still glad that he's part of the Texans defense. And I ain't gonna lie, looking forward to see what he brings. Cause secondary is about, you know, yeah, the secondary depth, you know, they could add some secondary depth in the draft as well. You know, as far as them adding them another safety, you know, is concerned. Because, you know, depth is key for sure. You know, who gets to step up. Supposedly one of the key players goes down with injury or suspended, you know, truth be told. But yeah, I just thought I'd come on here and, you know, talk about the pros and the cons about the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade. But even with the pros and cons, you know, still glad that he's a Texan. But that's about all I got. You know, till my next video, Lord of Houston checking on up out of here. 713 the Bayou City, go Houston Texans, and I'm gone.